The college football playoff has already given us one of the most memorable games in recent college football memory, and some of these players are going to go on to make even more great memories at the NFL level. So I thought it would be a cool idea if I gave you my top 5 NFL draft prospects that made the college football playoffs. My name is Blaiden Kirk. Thank you for tuning into the FanDuel page. Let's start with my number 5, James Pierce Jr., edge rusher out of Tennessee.
I do think he's the best edge rusher in the country. I don't think that there's any argument. He is very special.
James Pierce Jr., his tape looks pretty ridiculous. He reminded me of Javon Curse.
Reminded me of Kayvon Thibodeau when he came out of Oregon a few years ago. Just that length and that athleticism.
I think we can address the elephant in the room right off the bat. He's 6'5", 243 pounds. He is probably going to be the smallest edge rusher in the NFL right now, if not for one or two other guys that got drafted in the past couple of years. And obviously, the major concern with this is how is he going to fare as a run defender? But one of the things that most impressed me was his ability to convert speed to power and stun offensive linemen with that initial contact. And also, I think if anything is underrated about Pierce's game right now, it is his play strength. I've noticed a number of times where he's been able to take on pulling blockers in the counter and power run game and really blow those plays up because he has a pretty solid base and he's able to use that to generate really great leverage. At number 4, we're taking a look at Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from the Ohio State University. He stands at 6'5", 310 pounds, and he has extremely long arms. Just the perfect frame, it seems, to play the position at the NFL level. And the first thing that stood out to me watching this guy is how incredible his first step is. And this shows up both in the run game and in the pass. He's got a quick first step and he's got really long arms. So what do you think he's great at? Getting in defenders' frames quickly. And at that point, once you're in someone's frame, you've basically won the rep. The only time this wouldn't work out in your favor would be if you just didn't get hands-on, which is kind of my biggest concern right now with Simmons, is that every once in a while he doesn't get great contact or doesn't have great hand placement, which can lead to either whiffing straight up and getting blown by, or you just don't get as much power in a rep as you need to, which could just lead to you not losing a rep, which is fine. But if you're down blocking and really need to move someone out of the way, or you're pulling and really need to move someone out of the way, and you don't get good contact and don't get enough power because of it, that is a problem. But at number 3, we're taking a look at another offensive tackle, and this time we're going way down south to Texas, taking a look at Kelvin Banks Jr. And this guy, 6'4", 320, he's a people mover. When he gets locked in, right here, it's over. Too much size, too much leverage, too much torque. There just isn't anything a defender can do unless they're like Vince Wilfork level. However, Banks is far from perfect, and it's worth noting that his quickness and his flexibility are real weaknesses right now. And while it's not a huge issue at the college level, because let's be real, how many guys out there are moving in super unique ways, are elite benders, are elite speed rushers, can contort their body in unique ways? Maybe 5, and as a power 5 player, you will maybe see 1 or 2 in a span of 2 years of college football play. At the NFL level, you're going to see more than that in the first half of your first season. So now, there are 2 more guys that I want to discuss, and I should warn you, at this point we are into super unique athlete territory where you watch them and you're just left feeling like confused, like what in the world did I just see? That didn't make any sense. That was fake. It didn't happen. Let's just say these guys are different. At number 2, I have Penn State's premier edge rusher, Abdul Carter.
Going back to LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons, you wear that number 11, you are a dude at Penn State. You are the dude at Penn State. And on this team, he is the dude at Penn State.
It helps to have a number 11 in a Penn State uniform, doesn't it? Abdul Carter just continues to prove why he very well could be edge 1 in this draft class.
And I'm just going to say this. I have seen a lot of people talk about him, and the most common comparison that I see is Micah Parsons, which obviously elite speed rusher, went to Penn State. I get it, but I think it's wrong. The next most common comparison that I see is Will Anderson, which again, I understand. Speed rusher, great athlete, kind of undersized, but again, I think it's wrong. The problem with creating a comparison for Abdul Carter is just that no one moves like him, and you can see this just watching highlights. Most edge rushers are very traditional in their pass rush pass, very traditional in the way that they bend the arc, and Carter just isn't. The closest example I can find to the way that he moves, the way that he attacks the edge, the way that he bends the arc is like a flag football player, like an elite flag football rushing threat. Does that make sense? I feel like the comments are gonna hate this, but I promise you it kind of makes sense if you watch him, because when he wants to really beat someone around the arc, he doesn't bend in the traditional sense. He drops his hips like a flag football player. He's like running at full speed. He's gonna drop his hips and then he's gonna like spring back up in whatever direction he wants to go. And I've never seen another edge rusher really do that. If you have seen someone else do this, I would love to see it. So if you could tell me in the comments, I would really appreciate it. But on top of being a freak athlete with this crazy movement skill that's super hard to stop, you'll see a number of times on tape where he'll recognize, oh, I've been left unblocked. Instead of me chasing the football, I understand that a screen's about to come this way or a reverse is about to come this way, and I'm just gonna stay home and let it come to me. And every single time, he leaves himself in perfect position by doing so. But my number one draft prospect in the college football playoffs is Boise State running back ASHTON JEANTY. Yes, even though he is a running back, and even though the value might tell you that, he's not worth a top 5 draft pick. Just like Abdul Carter, I would absolutely love to have him on my team.
There are teams in the first round where you're like, oh my God, 300 touches from this guy. And yes, the talent, he deserves to be in the name conversation of rookie Saquon Barkley, rookie Ezekiel Elliott, rookie some of the best we've ever seen. And that's why he's going to be a first round pick. That's why there's talk about him being a top 15 pick.
The reality is I don't care that he's a running back. JEANTY is just an absolute dynamo. He's like a ball of vibranium. He's got the Black Panther armor on. Anytime he takes on contact, he just absorbs it and uses that contact to propel himself in whatever direction that he wants to go. He basically seeks out contact as a means of creating separation and getting the space that he wants in a run play. Just the level of contact balance and vision it takes to pull that kind of stuff off is next level.
Ashton, bro, nothing less of a great performance up until this point this year. You played your off. Nothing else that you could do. If ASHTON JEANTY had those same stats at the University of Georgia, it's not even close.
I don't really need to elaborate on this. Everyone knows how good ASHTON JEANTY is. A lot of people still think he should have won the Heisman. He's an absolute nightmare. For every defense that faces him, you watch him turn tackles into touchdowns all the time. He's a beast. But that will do it for my top 5 NFL draft prospects that made the college football playoffs. Thank you all so much for tuning in.